So beginning with step one, identifying supplier selection criteria. Many of you will work with your internal customers and your stakeholders on sourcing projects with the goal to select a supplier, implement a deal, and bring products and services into your organization. Now, what your role in procurement is to bring some structure to that, bring some professionalism to that, bring some best practices that your internal customers and stakeholders just don't do as a part of their normal job. So one of the first things that you'll do, or that you should do, is to come up with and present supplier selection criteria. Now, this is not something that you start off with a blank slate and say, okay, what are we looking for in a supplier? Well, I don't know. Let's start from scratch. As a procurement professional, what you're expected to bring to the table are best practices for how to select a supplier, how to differentiate between the suppliers who will do well for you and the suppliers who will not. So what you can do is to, as a first step, present what are the criteria that you use to select a supplier. Now, in the procurement game plan, the book, we list eight criteria that are commonly used in best practices organizations. Now, that's not to say that for every sourcing project you're going to use all 8 of these. And that's not to say that you're going to limit yourself to these 8 if there are other criteria that can come into play. But this menu of supplier selection criteria serves as a great starting point for all of the various things to consider when selecting a supplier, so that your end users know that selecting a supplier and negotiating a contract is more than just finding a supplier who can deliver when they say they will or when you need them to. Whether it's more than just convenience. Supplier selection is something that takes a broad range of criteria into consideration. So the first step is to identify your supplier selection criteria.